How's it going? Nate here. Gonna try something a little different today. I'm doing some Magic the Gathering, one of my favorite games. I have played since high school-ish, college. But it's something that I enjoy doing with my wife's family. Me and her brothers play. We prefer Commander. That's our favorite format. But today, I'm just going to kind of do a how to play. Kind of a quick little kind of tutorial. I mean, just if you're interested. I'm going to kind of go through what all this stuff means, what it looks like, and kind of tell you how I enjoy it, why I enjoy it. And yeah, that'll be just real low-key today. So this is Arena. This is Magic the Gathering Arena. It's their newest form of online Magic play. There was an older program called Magic the Gathering Online. I never played that one. At that time, I was just into the paper cards. Oh yeah, this is a card game. Magic the Gathering is a card game from the 90s, I believe. And it's hugely popular in the world. Wizards of the Coast is the company that does it. They're now owned by Hasbro. So let's see how popular it is. Hasbro bought them. I have some paper cards right here. Show what they look like. Because I play on the tabletop version of the game, as well as on Arena. It's been a little while since I've been on Arena. I have not played Kaladesh Remastered, and I actually didn't play much of Zendikar. Those are the newest sets. Magic comes out with a few sets a year, just new cards to play with. They reprint some old cards and print some new cards. Keeps the game very fresh. And I'm just going to get into it. So this is the Arena. This is the Arena interface. There's a bunch of different ways to play. There's challenges to meet down here. Then you earn rewards. This is free to play, by the way. You do not have to spend any money. It will be a little tough when you begin, but the game does do a pretty good job of matching you with other beginners, other people who haven't played very much of the game. Granted, you may be matched with people who have played Paper Magic a bunch or online or whatever. So just keep that in mind, but I think it matches you with people who have similar card pool as you. But yeah, I have quite a few decks. These ones with the symbol on them are not legal play, I believe, or they're missing cards or whatever. Been a little while since I played them. But these ones are all fine. It shows. And there's different ways to play, even on Arena. Started with just standard, which is the main way to play. 60 card deck. You can have only 4 copies of any given card except for basic lands, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just jump in and I'll talk as I go. I'm going to play a bot match, so against the computer, and yes, I'm going to play with my deck, Historic Vampires. Vampires are my favorite creature type. White and black together. It's my favorite combo of colors, but I'll get into the color wheel too. So this is an opening hand. When you start a game of Magic, you get to draw 7 cards off the top of your library. Your library is just your deck. This looks like a decent hand. I'm going to keep it. So you can either keep or mulligan, and if you mulligan, you draw another hand, and then you select one card to place on the bottom of your library. If it's your first mulligan. Second mulligan, 2 cards. Third, 3, and so on. This looks like fine.
Rightio, now let's play.
This is my opponent. Her name is Spark. She's playing a red deck. Red decks tend to go quickly. They go fast. Her creature right there that she played. Kind of a shame that I didn't go first, but it's fine. So, this is the battlefield. She played a land right there and a creature. To play spells, creatures are spells, there's a bunch of different other spells, you need to pay the mana cost. You can see the mana cost is at the top right hand corner of the card. It's a red symbol right there. See it? So to play this goblin, Sparky only needed to tap or use 1 red mana to cast it. And this mountain has the red mana symbol on it. So when she taps it, uses it, it creates 1 red mana that she then used to cast her Raging Goblin. Creatures are the basic way of winning a game.
Think about the multiverse.
Shh.
Like, hey, that's wild.
Let me see if I can't. There. See if that silenced her. Okay. Creatures are the main way to win a Magic game. We have life points. I am at 19 right now. She's at 20. Start at 20 in basic Magic. This creature right here's stats are on the bottom there. This one's a 1/1. So that means that it attacks for 1 damage, and it can take 1 damage before it dies. Power, toughness. Power, how much damage it deals, that's 1. Toughness is the second number. That's how much damage it takes before it dies. So if I deal 1 damage to this thing, it'll go to the graveyard. The little text on there is haste. Nice thing about Arena, if you hover over something, it'll explain things pretty well. Haste says a creature with haste can attack and tap as soon as it comes under your control. So I'm going to go ahead and take my turn. I will play this Plains. It's the fancy Plains. But Plains are a basic white mana source. Cast that, and then the casting costs are displayed at the top of the cards there. And it highlights what I can do. So the only thing I can do on this turn is cast Skymarcher Aspirant, which is a vampire soldier. Pay 1 mana, cast that, and then it cycles through my turn. Lots of haste. Like I said, red likes to go fast. When she attacks with her creatures, I can choose to block, and then the creatures will deal damage to each other. Creatures always attack players, they don't attack each other. She can't attack by Skymarcher Aspirant directly with her 2 creatures. She attacks me, and then I choose whether my creature is going to defend me by blocking or not. My Skymarcher Aspirant is a 2/1, so it deals 2 damage, but it only needs to take 1 damage before it dies. So, if I were to block either of her creatures, my creature would die, and their creature would die. Creatures, unless they say something funky, can only block 1 creature per turn. So, I could have blocked this Nest Robber, would have been the correct one, to stop 2 damage from coming through. And let's see. I do have something for 2 mana, so I will play. These are special lands here. This one can tap for either white or black, and so can this one. They're a little bit different in their wordings. I'll play this one right there. And then this guy here says other vampires you control get +1/+1. The turn is set right here, and then you can click on these to stop your turn in case you want to do something tricky at a specific time. But there's basically the beginning of your turn, and then That's when you do little things called upkeep and draw your card and untap your stuff. Tapping is when things are used. So like when you use a land for mana or when you attack with a creature, they get tired when they tap. Just symbolizing that they're tired. They can't do anything for a while. And tapped creatures can't block. So I'm free and clear to attack her. So the turn though, beginning of the turn is when you draw and untap and do any little things that are called upkeeps. There's the first main phase where you can play cards. Basically normal. There's attack phase where you swing, block, attack, take damage, that kind of stuff. And then there's a second main phase. So after you attack, you can play more cards. And then the end step. It's kind of just a cleanup. Things go away. Any damage done to creatures actually goes away. So if you didn't deal enough damage to destroy a creature, it heals itself basically at the end of turn. But anyways, I will play this guy here. And he gives my other creature a bump in power. I'm going to go ahead and attack with her. Just put a little pressure on. And then the game cycles through. So there was nothing more for me to do. And now, my opponent only attacked with the creature that could kill my guy. Because if I blocked with the Raging Goblin with Legion Lieutenant, Raging Goblin would die, Legion Lieutenant would take 1 damage, and then the turn would pass through and he would get that back. So the opponent is doing the smart thing by attacking with just a 2/1. So if I want to save myself 2 damage, I will lose my creature, which would be a bad play for us because that would weaken all my other vampires. So I'm going to say no blocks. Vampires don't care about health. This is an interesting land. When I drop it, I can choose a creature type, and I can choose any by typing in, but it gives me options of the ones that I already have out on the field. I'll choose vampires. And then it can tap for any color of mana to cast that creature type. Let's see. I will further bump up my creature's powers. This is the same kind of thing. I pick a creature type, and those creatures get +1/+1 that I control. So if I'm facing another vampire deck, my stuff buffs my stuff, not theirs. So my creatures are even stronger. Now, if I swing with her, she can block with her big, fearless halberdier. Halberdier. The weapon's called a halberd. An axe on a stick, basically. Anyways, I'm not going to attack because she could kill either one of mine, and this one will get stronger. No, I said not attack. Even in Paper Magic, it is a thing. This is one of those games where you gotta pay attention. Don't do anything brash. We're gonna take that 3 damage. So she's building herself a nice army of goblins, which I am going to... So this one, I can play it and it comes in tapped, which means I cannot use it on the turn it's played. I have to wait for it to untap my next turn. Or I can pay 2 life and it comes in untapped, which means I can use it now. And I want to do that because I cannot Kaya's Wrath. This is called a board wipe. It destroys all creatures. And then I gain life. I would gain 2 life. That would be a great deal for us, but a decent deal because they have more stuff than us. But I'm going to actually play that because now I have 3 more vampires and 2 things just happened because I got to 10 permanents. 2 of my cards have what's called Ascend. And in Magic the Gathering, there's a bunch of keywords that do different things. Keywords. They're just words that do something specific. Like when I hovered over this guy, haste, that's a keyword. It's one word that means something specific in the game rules. So, like, haste is a creature can attack or tap. Sometimes they have abilities that make them tap, but as soon as it comes up. Otherwise, if they didn't have that, they have what's called summoning sickness, which is denoted on this game by a little black fog that's rolling off of them. Basically, when you cast them, they're like tired from being cast. They're like, what? What's going on? So they need a turn to kind of get their bearings, figure out what they're doing, and then they can attack. With haste, they are ready to go. They are ready, and they will attack or do whatever on the ball. So a keyword that I have on my side of the battlefield is ascend. Ascend means that if you control 10 or more permanents, I get the city's blessing for the rest of the game. It's kind of just a thing that goes off. Somebody rings a bell and it's like, okay, the city's blessing is on this player. And 2 of my things have that. So what this creature does, when I have the city's blessing, she gets flying. That's another keyword. That means that she can fly over these creatures and punch Sparky in the face. They would have to have flying or reach, which are like long-necked creatures or creatures that can jump, whatever, to block the flyers. So they'd have to have that to block her. But none of her creatures have that, so she is free and clear to punch her in the face. Another thing that had to send was my Radiant Destiny. It was just an anthem. That means it pumps a specific creature type, vampires. So it was a vampire anthem. This guy's a vampire lord. Those are just not actual keywords, but just words that players use to kind of like explain things quickly. So he's a vampire lord. Everybody knows that has played the game a little bit knows that means, oh, okay, vampires, he buffs them some way. And this was the same thing, but anthem, just, it's a lord, but it's not a creature. It's a stick. So this one gives all the vampires +1/+1. But the other thing is, after you get ascend, yeah, calm down, Sparky, calm down. After you get ascend, it gives the creatures vigilance, which is another keyword. That means that attacking does not cause them to tap. They can attack, and then the next turn they can immediately block if they need to. Vigilance. They're vigilant. So, let's see. Do I want to take... This thing has Convoke. I'll explain that later. I'm not going to use it right now. So, since she has Vigilance and doesn't have to worry about blocking, I'm going to swing with her. No problem. And I'm not going to choose to use that. I need my guys to be on defense. Let's see what she's got. Interesting. So in her hand, she must have something to kill a creature. I'm going to do something a little tricky. Unless she can kill Legion Lieutenant. Then, no, still only one of those will die. Oh, and first strike. So that gave first strike to that thing. So it dealt damage before my creature dealt damage, which meant I want more. I didn't talk about sorceries. These are called sorceries. Sorceries in an instance are spells that you cast, they happen, and then they go to the graveyard. It's like... So this one, what this did was made 3 baby vampires. Sorry for not explaining that before. Anyways, I will probably attack. Since they have vigilance, there's not too much worry. She can block, multiple creatures can block one creature. So she could throw 3 of her goblins at one of my creatures and kill it. But we would 3-for-1 her. So in this guy's case, that would be a good deal for her, but we're not going to swing with him. In these 2 guys' case, we would gain 3 life, she'd lose 3. These guys have a keyword called lifelink. Any damage they deal goes straight into my life pool. My life total. So yeah, vampires drinking blood. They like it. We are good. I am gonna take her creature, I think. Okay. So what I can do is I can swing with her and these two. And they will block a little bit. Did they block? Oh, yeah, all three on this one guy. Okay, so she's 3 for 1-ing. So she's losing 3 things. I'm only losing 1 thing. We are completely okay with that. I'm going to, deal damage with that. So these things with the rounded corners like that, with the rounded top, are called tokens. They're not actually cards. They're made by an effect of another card. So mine was made by a sorcery. I think hers was as well. Yeah. Some goblin art, I think, is like adorable and gross. Okay, so this has Convoke. So I can tap a creature that I have to cast it, actually. And I'm going to steal her 3/2, even though I don't really need to. We're sitting fine with life total. And we have something with Death Touch. Another keyword. That just means any amount of damage dealt would destroy a creature. It's like basically poison. She also has lifelink. And this guy, I can pay 4 life to give him indestructible. Indestructible means that effects that say destroy don't destroy him. And if it's a creature, it can't be destroyed by damage. There are ways to destroy it, like to remove it, but... And we'll go ahead and win the game, just in case. I know that they don't have anything in hand, and they only have 2 creatures on the battlefield. They have 3 mana, so we can see everything that they have up their sleeves. They don't have any tricks. But I still like being cautious and not attacking with something that I don't have to. And we win. Easy peasy. Never had to explode stuff. Let's play another one. I'm going to switch decks and play Big Old Dinosaur. So this one, the dinosaur's name is Gulta. And that is... I think this was maybe... kind of... Oh, this is a good hand. I think. It's not super good. It's decent. It's pretty good. I have these fancy forests. They just tap for 1 green mana. This dude has reach. I mentioned that earlier. That means he can block creatures with flying. And then he has an ability, which makes it so we can throw out... Oh, we just select it, and we say go. Okay. He can cause us to put a land out. Normally you play 1 land per hand, per turn. 1 land per turn. Go ahead and put out this guy. And this guy has, whenever a creature explores, he gets bigger. And I gain life. Very handy. Explore is another keyword. It's a little involved, so I'll talk about it when I get something that explores. So this is a baller move. So they're playing black, and I know that all of the bot decks are monocolored, so I know there's not going to be any red that lays down. And I don't believe there are any black creatures with haste, at least not that this game even uses. There may be. There's a lot of old cards that are weird, but I'm going to attack for 0 damage. Just a flex. Weird flex, but okay. Okay, so yeah. Normally you can only play 1 land per turn. But this guy let us get an extra land out. And anytime you get more land out than it is your turns, it's called ramp. We can safely attack here. This guy can't kill us. We don't have to worry too much about their cards in hand because they have 2 mana, but it's both tapped. Both of their mana, both their lands are tapped. Now, they do have 1 untapped land. I don't know what they could have up their sleeve. He's not real important, but he is nice to block flyers. So we're going to take the 2 damage. He could be bluffing us, which is fine. How we have a choice to make. This is a new creature, or a new card type, called a Planeswalker. I haven't talked about those yet. I'm going to go ahead and play her instead of the creature because she will accelerate us a lot. She is very rampy. So she costs 5 to cast. We paid 5. And she says, whenever you tap a forest for mana, add an additional green mana. Very nice. Planeswalkers come out with a loyalty amount that's written on the card. This one's 5. So her loyalty is 5. And then to use that loyalty, she has effects on her card. And let's see. Planeswalkers you can think of kind of like other players, where their life total is their loyalty count. So like her loyalty to me is 5. So if she takes 5 damage, she's gonna dip out. She's like, nope, I'm done. Bye. So it's not like they die, it's like they leave. But basically they die. So the 2 abilities that she has on her. She has a +1 that says we get to put 3 1/1 counters on up to 1 land, non-creature land, so it can't be a creature yet. And then it becomes a creature. We untap it, and it has vigilance and haste. So we are definitely going to do that, and we are also going to attack with that, probably. And then her -8. Oh, so that +1 will add 1 to her loyalty, so she'll be at 6. And then she has a -8, so we can't do the -8 until she gets to 8. We -8, she die. So if we want to keep her around, we have to wait until she gets to 9. But it makes lands indestructible, and we can look for any number of forests, put them onto the battlefield, and shuffle. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and do that. And I'm still a little worried about what she has behind her sleeve there. But we can do both the things we want next turn. Anyways. Which is familiar. It's a cute frog. We've got another forest. Okay, Gigantosaurus is a 10/10. See the 10/10? For 5 green mana. That is a crazy good rate. It's a really good deal. Only pay 5 mana, and you get a 10/10. Since she makes basically forests tap or double, we have 1 extra green mana floating in our pool here. Galta's ability says this spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control. So if you have a Gigantosaurus, Galta casts only 2. Normally casts 12. Costs 12 to cast. So we'll go ahead and get Galta out there too. And do we want to attack? Yes. We're going to clear out some guys. Push the attack. They're going to kill one of our forests, which is fine. So we lost a land, but we are doing fine on land. Ooh, Death Touch. That is something we want to watch out for. I did that a little soon, but this only costs 5, and we have, yeah. So normally you'd want to tap first, then buff her or pump her up, and then untap. You get to untap with her ability, but it's fine. It's fine. It's this kind of time where you have to sit and think about something. Little dragon over here. So Galta is at 12/12, which is huge. She also has Trample, which Trample means that if a creature deals more damage than it takes to kill a creature, then that carries over to their owner. Let's see. Death Touch will kill any one of my creatures with just this one. So if she blocks Galta, Galta dead. Galta would trample 11 damage over though and kill her, so she'd have to absorb a lot more. So I think if we just swing everything, attack with all of them, we should be fine. Hold him back just to see what happens. Yeah, there's no way that she could survive all of this. She'll kill Galta, but then she'll die. Doesn't matter if you still have creatures if you have won the game. Unless she had something tricky, that's when it would have been weird. Never did get to talk about Explorer, but yeah, it's fine. That's all I'm going to do. We good. If you'd like to see more Magic, I will record more. If not, no worries. If you're interested in playing the game, it's Magic the Gathering Arena.com, or just Google search MTGA. You'll find it. And you can try it out. Might stream sometime. Kind of fun. But, yeah. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.